Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us on the Rochester Press Box. Bill Pucko, glad to be back with you. Missed about a month. I'll explain that later on. Guys, good to see you again. Tariq, you got loose last week. I heard about it from a lot of people. You get loose on the Jets last week.
I did. I actually believe that the Jets were playing a regular season game and not a preseason game, but they came out in the preseason in the first half, and well, we got the results we got.
Yeah, well, we'll talk about that too. Pat Duffy, good to see you, man.
Yeah, good to see you. I hadn't heard from you in a month. Don't be sad. I thought you were dead. We were just doing the show. I don't know what happened. I know. I'm glad he's not. I didn't say I was. I wanted it to happen. I was worried, but I'm not worried enough to ask somebody.
No, I'd expect nothing less. Hey, Tariq, more of the coronavirus stuff, but the news keeps getting better. We got the Big Ten announcing that they're going to come back and play football this year. What changed?
The pressure probably from the players, the parents, lawsuits, and all the other different concerns. And oh, by the way, money, which you would lose out on. I think this is just an opportunity. Here we were about a month ago, and the Big Ten was kind of like, no, we're not playing. We voted. It's not going to happen. Here we are a month later. The NFL started. College has started. Players are demanding to play. They want to sue to play. All of these different things have come up. You've seen some college football games already. I think it was kind of the pressure to get back out there. Okay, let's just go out there and play and see what happens. And maybe in a month from now, we'll have better results from the coronavirus update than we do right now. So, I mean, I think it was just pure pressure.
So look, Tariq, I don't see where anything substantively has changed. It's just like the fact that the Big Ten all of a sudden has got football in its face being played in other conferences, and they're feeling a lot of pressure despite the fact they said, we're not reconsidering this. And they reconsider it.
Yes. I mean, I think what happens is that you actually see football. You see what it's like, especially in week one of the NFL. I find it interesting that this vote comes the week after the NFL season has started. And they're just like, all right, these guys are playing. All right, high schools. Some of these high schools are playing. I think it's just a push to try to get something out of nothing. All right, let's shorten up the season. Let's not have as long a season as we would have if we had started in August. Let's get something out there, try, and if something gets out of hand, if we get a spike in players that catch COVID-19, then we'll shut it down. But until then, let's go out here and try. We would try to open up schools. We try to keep as many people safe as possible. Let's do the best we can with what we've got. And, oh, by the way, rake in as much as we can.
Yeah, Pat, what substantively changed for you that made the Big Ten reconsider?
Well, okay, so the line that they're going with is there's now daily rapid COVID tests that were not available a month ago when they voted that are now available now. If you want to take them at face value, okay, I understand that argument. But I don't know if I believe them, man. Like, you see these other conferences go out, they're playing ball, people are excited. You don't want to get left out. Tariq brought up the pressure from the players and the coaches. But I do find it surprising that after 2 weeks of, I guess, okay situations, that you're ready to put it all out there now. Like, there is so much that these colleges have to lose, right? Let's say a couple of kids show long-term effects from COVID-19. There's no thing you're going to sign that's going to protect them 5, 10, 15 years down the road. You already have concussion settlements that you're paying out. It seems pretty short-sighted if you were trying to protect yourself initially, which is what I think the Big Ten was trying to do.
And with all the sports that have succeeded in coming back and recently, I always felt that college football, Pat, was the biggest risk for success here.
100%, because not only do you have the athletes that are traveling all over the country, you got the kids that are on campus. And look, man, you turn on the news and you see that maybe these kids on campus aren't taking it as seriously as everybody else. Look, I mean, it ultimately comes down to the players want to play, the coaches want to coach. But what do you expect guys like that to say? Of course they want to play. They're also kids that may not be able to weigh out the risks of things long term. I always looked at these colleges and the NCAA as the person that's supposed to be responsible, but as time goes on with every single decision, it seems that they're becoming less and less responsible for the health and safety of the folks that they're supposed to be taking care of.
And it's habit. I mean, for years it's always been fall football. I mean, I didn't see a problem with us going to spring. I mean, you in about 4 or 5 months we might be past this, hopefully, knock on wood, COVID-19, and kids can still play. I mean, we've been able to adjust high school schedules. I just think that there is this sort of over here you can play, over here you can't play. Well, if they can play, why can't we play? And it's just you have to understand, different states have different rules, different people have different numbers, and that's just the way it's sort of built.
We're at the Rochester Press Box. We're talking Buffalo Bills next.
Original Bay Goodman Pizza, located on the corner of North Winton at Browncroft. There are 3 ways to get the original Bay and Goodman delivery. Go to baygoodman.com.
Welcome back. Thanks for joining us on the Rochester Press Box. Time to talk a little Buffalo Bills. Pat, pretty impressive start, don't you think?
Oh, I mean, I had a really good time watching what happened on Sunday. Look, I was shocked. No, I didn't think the Bills were going to lose this game. I was looking for a backdoor cover, maybe a little struggle with the offense because, you hadn't had any live hitting. You were implementing, a new piece in Stephon Diggs. They look brilliant. That's the best I've seen. The first half yesterday was the best I've seen that Bills offense look in, God, could we say a decade, maybe 15 years? Everything you saw, you love. And the best part about it that nobody's really talking about, look, you score 21 points in the first half, you score 6 in the second half. Normally that happens with Bills teams under McDermott because they take their foot off the gas. This team didn't do that. They didn't try and force a running game that wasn't working. They kept throwing the ball in the second half. You got a couple of missed field goals you clean up. But look, if Brian Daboll is willing to coach this year every game, all game like that, oh, buddy, there's going to be some problems for other NFL teams.
All right. I know I picked the Jets last week, and
yeah,
I will give Pat Duffy his due, but you can't tell me you're not concerned about Josh Allen rushing the ball as much as he did. That's a lot of rushing yards for a quarterback. He fumbled a few times. You should have won really by 20. I mean, really, you dominated. The Bills dominated that first half. And you weren't a little bit nervous when the Jets scored in the third quarter?
I mean, look, I'm a Bills fan. I am predisposed to be nervous anytime anything happens that isn't good for the Bills. Look, you're right about Josh Allen and the fumbles. I don't like that. And I think there's something that gets cleaned up this week, not in regards to the fumbles. I think that's a lost cause, and you're just going to have to live with it with Josh Allen. Brian Daboll put in a ton of RPOs, run-pass options. And what we're learning based on that game on Sunday is if you give Josh Allen a run-pass option, there is no option. He's going to take that ball, and he's going to run. By my count, on the RPOs, 6 of 7 he took himself. So maybe, just maybe, if you're going to use the quarterback to run, design it. Don't give him the opportunity to make a choice, because if he does, he's taking that ball, and he's going.
I'm worried. I really am worried. He's rushing the ball. He rushed for more yards than Singletary and Mossel both combined.
Yeah.
So I'm really worried about him rushing that football against the Miami defense.
I heard another sports commentator suggest that Josh Allen can't become a top-tier quarterback if you take the legs away from him, that he has to run to be the quarterback that everybody wants him to be.
Okay, but isn't that quarterbacks in the NFL today? I mean, find me a top-tier quarterback that hasn't been in the league for more than 7 years that doesn't get it done without using their legs sometimes, right? I mean, it's funny. People are going to criticize Josh Allen for using his legs too much. Meanwhile, Patrick Mahomes is the MVP of the league and Super Bowl MVP. Lamar Jackson might be the most exciting player in the NFL. Kyler Murray is the next to be crowned. All of these guys are getting accolades poured on them for the way they use their legs. Meanwhile, Josh Allen, it's a liability. Why is that?
I think the concern here is not only so much the fact that those quarterbacks are also great with their arm. Josh Allen missed a few throws in that game. I mean, he missed a few touchdowns in that game. And I think that's the overall concern. The fact that he's going to use his legs one too many times where he could have thrown or passed the ball. And there's a concern about whether or not his accuracy is there. I don't think so. Just keep throwing the ball. You'll be fine.
All right, so look, we got a little bit of time. Tariq, what do you think of the Miami game? The Bills that go in 5.5 points as the favorite.
Bills by 10 again.
Ooh, whoa.
10.
Pat?
All right, so you know who we're playing on Sunday, right? The quarterback of the Miami Dolphins is Ryan Fitzpatrick. And I sat on this show last year going into the Dolphins game where the Bills were undefeated and the Dolphins were the worst team in the league. And I said, you watch out for Ryan Fitzpatrick because anything can happen when Fitzy shows up. And the Dolphins gave the Bills one of their hardest fought victories of the season. Anything can happen with Ryan Fitzpatrick. I think they cover, but this is not going to be the walkover that Bills fans think it's going to be. And based on the Patriots and Cam Newton last week, I think we see more Josh Allen runs than you want to see, Tariq, because Cam Newton was so very effective running that ball against the Dolphins defense.
Don't run them.
All right, I'll give it a Buffalo 24-20. I got Miami covering, and the schedule works out nice. I mean, it's nice to be able to open up with these two teams. It's like a college basketball schedule. This is the Rochester Press Box, Like It or Not, is next. Here's the Press Box trivia question brought to you by Market View Liquor.
where exceptional customer service meets an extensive selection. Jefferson Road at 390.
I hate kickers. They get great glory when they make a game-winning field goal. Sorry, you've got one job to do. Do your damn job.
Falcon Around with Carl Falk. New episodes every Tuesday on Rock Sports Now.
Here's the Press Box Trivia answer, brought to you by Market View Liquor, where exceptional customer service meets an extensive selection. Jefferson Road at 390.
Are you facing criminal charges from a DWI and feel that you never imagined it could happen to you? Contact attorneys with years of experience as prosecutors and defenders. Contact Ganguly Brothers Law today for a free consultation. You can put your trust in us.
Welcome back. Thanks for joining us on the Rochester Press Box. This segment of the Press Box, like it or not, is brought to you by Ganguly Brothers Law Firm. If you have a legal matter, contact Ganguly Brothers today for a free consultation. Pat, like it or not, the fact that the New England Patriots are supposed to be horrible and with Cam Newton at quarterback won anyway.
Well, okay, you got Miami, like we just talked about again. Who knows how good the Dolphins are? But I will give credit where credit is due. If there is one person that is going to find any way to win a football game, it's Bill Belichick. I mean, the guy is a football historian. And that offense that you were watching, that the Patriots were running with Cam Newton last week, looks very 1940s, 1950s, right? It's whatever the Dolphins were willing to give them, they were going to take. You'll run your quarterback up the middle. You'll run your quarterback out off to the side. You'll run a ton of run-pass options. When that softens up the defense, you're going to go over the top for the mid-range passing game. It's easy to solve. It's easy to figure out. What's great about Belichick is when they got pushed into a corner, they always had another gear to go to confuse you. You don't have that ability with Cam Newton and the rest of that Patriots offense. I think it comes to an end, if not sooner than later.
Is no one impressed with what Bill Belichick has had to deal with? I mean, most of his defense leaves. Cam Newton comes in. Is praising him wherever he goes, to something Tom Brady wanted. Then Tom Brady loses to Tampa Bay in New Orleans. I mean, it's almost, I got to find out exactly how the Patriots will play for the next few weeks leading up to the first time they take on the Bills. This is must-see TV. The Patriots are interesting.
Hey, Tariq, like it or not, the Final Four in the NBA playoffs?
Shocked. I was expecting the Clippers to be there with the Lakers. The Lakers are there, but they're taking on the Nuggets. Not surprised in the East, though. Let me just tell you, Jimmy Butler has turned into one of my favorite players to watch. I mean, he fought his way out of so many different bad organizations and finds himself in a perfect spot right now, going up against the Boston Celtics, who basically may have gotten their chemistry right, getting rid of Kyrie Irving and putting in Kemba Walker, depending on how this series rolls out. I like the finals. You could get Lakers, Celtics. You could get Heat, Lakers. You can get Nuggets, who came back from 3-1 deficits twice in this bubble to be in the finals. I don't see a real bad draw. The money draw would be Lakers and Celtics for nostalgia. But, I mean, if the Nuggets make it to the finals, would that be that bad? I mean, they kind of deserve it.
And Pat, let me go like it or not, and we'll give our hockey friends a little plug here. The teams that are left and how the Stanley Cup playoffs have gone so far.
Man, as we're taping this, Tampa Bay and the Islanders are still doing their thing. But I am really impressed with the way Dallas has played hockey over the last couple of years. I'll be honest, man. When these playoffs started, Dallas wasn't even in my mind of having a possibility to make a cup run. It was Vegas. It was going to be Colorado. Dallas is a really fun hockey team to watch, and that's what's so interesting about hockey. Dallas has your old veterans in your Tyler Seguin and your Jamie Benz, right? Guys that have been around and know how to get a team going. They have a lot of young talent, including the guy that scored the overtime game winner to send him to the Stanley Cup Finals. That kid no one's ever heard of. He had 20 goals this season, 9 in the playoffs. Look, I know Tampa Bay, if they are the ones that end up in the Stanley Cup Finals, they look like they're unstoppable. But this Dallas team just has a feeling of, we've been here, we know what we're doing, and it's our cup to be taken away.
This is the Rochester Press Box. Unfinished Business is next.
The Press Box Stat of the Week is being brought to you by McArdle's Restaurant in Fairport. McArdle's is open 7 days a week with dining available indoors and out, takeout and delivery. Come home to McArdle's.
And now to Eichel. He floated one.
Welcome back to the Rochester Press Box. It's time for Unfinished Business, and as always, Pat Duffy.
Well, when that Bills game finished up last week, all I could do was sit on the couch and continue to watch whatever else was on. And it just happens that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Tom Brady were taking on the New Orleans Saints. And look, as a Bills fan, you want to see Tom Brady fail. In fact, I wanted to watch him fall on his face right out of the gate. They marched down the field and score a touchdown. Brady looks amazing, spikes that ball, and I'm not feeling great. Turns out I didn't want him to fall on his face right away, because even better than that was watching him have confidence, make his little face, the grrr, after he spiked the touchdown, then proceed to puke all over himself for the rest of the game. 2 interceptions, one that's returned for a touchdown. His arm isn't there anymore. He has all of the talent in the world. There is no excuse as to why Brady shouldn't be successful on that Tampa Bay team. Yet he couldn't do it. They got boat raced. That score wasn't as close as it was in the end. And you had to see Tom Brady at the end of that game realizing, oh my God, I might have made a terrible mistake. Look, I understand it's week 1 and other things could happen. But if you go back and look at the look in Brady's eyes as that game went on, when he realized, wait a minute, I don't have what I thought I was going to have. And my legacy might not be what I hoped it was going to be, getting away from where I was. Oh God, it felt so good to see.
The baseball season isn't over yet, but the Mets baseball season is over. They probably won't make the playoffs, which is fine, but they made a key acquisition. A brand new owner, Steve Cohen, is going to pay $2.4 some odd billion to now own the team and have at least 90% of that team going forward. The biggest thing about this is that the acquisition itself isn't so much of a player, a guy who will get the right players that the New York Mets need. Let's just say this. Their farm system has done a great job. DeGrom is a 2-time Cy Young Award winner. You got Pete Alonso. You got players on that team that can hit. Your bullpen is terrible. You don't have a 3rd, 4th, or 5th starter. And you need to totally maybe even revamp your manager and general manager. But that's what Stevie Cohen is there for. So the key acquisition here for the New York Mets isn't so much a player. It's the guy that will get the players that the team needs to move forward. I'm excited about it. I only need to know what kind of owner is Steve Cohen going to be.
So how was your summer vacation in the year 2020? Well, in respect to the idea that misery loves company, I went and had elective surgery, a full knee replacement. And let me tell you that misery doesn't love company as much as it needs hope. And that's where sports comes in. You remember where we were at the beginning of all this stuff, and we were talking about this on this show. This stuff will never work. You know, these sports are going to fall flat on their faces. But look what happened. The NBA bubble and the National Hockey League cities, these things have worked almost to perfection. Major League Baseball, except for a couple of clowns in Cleveland and some hiccups with the teams in St. Louis and Miami, Major League Baseball players have proven that the honor system is actually working. We had the U.S. Open tennis played without a hitch last week. We have the U.S. Open golf this week. And everything just seems to be falling into place. Now, sure, these events have been compromised with the fact that there aren't any fans at the events. It changes things. Of course it does. But sports in the United States has largely been a TV show over an event for a long time now anyway. So the fact that these events are compromised really doesn't matter that much. So misery-loving company? Misery doesn't love company as much as it needs hope. And sports has provided a lot of that over the last month. That is Unfinished Business, and that is our show. Guys, good to be back with you. Tariq, thank you very much.
As always, good to see you in good health, Bill. Good to have you back.
All right, and Pat?
Hey, loving this new polo shirt, unbuttoned, Weekend at Bernie's style look you got going on. Very relaxed after you had your brush with knee replacement. I'm glad. You look a whole new person, Bill.
All right. I am actually partially a new person. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next week for the Rochester Press Box.